You just took the words
part-time
out of my
job.
mouth.
Yeah, I mean, hey there, everyone. Dave Barlow here with the gang from Sell for 1% -1. We're missing Jay the Bomb this morning. He's on the road headed to Hocking Hills to do a home inspection. We've
On
got
vacation.
Yeah. Jay Marinsky and Ryan Cochran. Ryan with NFM Financing. And today is May 2nd. May 2nd. The Fed met yesterday and prognosticated all of the knowledge of the world upon us. And Ryan is here to discern it. And so, Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, thanks for always having me, guys. So it was kind of lackluster yesterday. Powell's press conference went well. Federal Reserve decision was to keep rates steady, which the market was already anticipating. It didn't really come as a surprise to the market. So it was more focused on what Powell's comments were going to be like and what his projection for the future was going to be. And that ended up being good as well. He acknowledged, right, the recent inflation data, and he is going to see, hopefully, that we will get a rate cut. He's optimistic for a rate cut this like around third quarter. So hopefully we'll see that trajectory. He says it's not due to political reasons, but historically we typically always see interest rates start to go down right before presidential elections. So I'm sure that has a little bit to do with it. But what those comments did really were they did improve interest rates a little bit yesterday because people ended up buying more bonds, which lowered the overall interest rate. So it was good. It was positive yesterday. We're hopeful that a rate cut's going to happen in the future, but we're just kind of heading steadily right now. What some upcoming things, there's the job report tomorrow meeting. So that will have a little bit of a play to where interest rates head as well. But hopefully, fingers crossed, they start to go down in about a month or two when they announce if they're going to be cutting rates again. So hopefully it will get back to what we were seeing in January, February, a little bit into March, where those interest rates were at, which we were, average rates went from a 7.5 yesterday down to 7.4. So top tier credit profile, you're going to see maybe high sixes, low sevens, and then bad profile, you're going to probably see more into the high sevens.
And so I think I saw ADP came out with their projection. They were 175,000 jobs, and there was 192 or 190 some odd thousand created. I think part of the conversation with that has been is that are those real jobs or are they
you just took the
part-time
words out of my
jobs?
mouth.
Yeah, I mean, what's the mix?
Yeah, so that's like the overall kind of thing. That's why we can't always go based off of the true data because it's not always so true. Sometimes the job reports comes out and it looks really, really positive, and we see a positive movement happen in the market, but then the actual data comes out and it's like, okay, well, half of those jobs were part-time employees that ended up getting, canned after a week or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But that's typically how it goes right now. That's what we're seeing. So hopefully,
welcome to the spin zone.
Exactly, which I would love just to see is what I hate about this whole situation is that interest rates and everything like that go based off of just comments so much that it drastically throws us into higher interest rates or a little bit lower interest rates, which cool, but I'd rather just see just steadiness throughout, either steadily going down or steadily, going up. I wish that so much of the comments didn't reflect on the interest rates, but more times than not, we typically do see the comments affect interest rates.
Right.
So
yeah, I think that, we talked about this a little earlier before getting on line here, that 7 seems to be the balance where interest rates back in January, February, first part of March were below 7%. We were actually seeing the market kind of heat up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, we saw interest rates jump above 7% up to that 7.5% rate. And we saw things slow. And so, and I saw this back, I've been doing this since 1998. So I'm the old timer. As interest rates from the early 2000s came from 8% to 7% to 6% to 5%, each time it teeter-tottered over one of those major brackets, we saw the market explode, and then we saw the market slow. And so it would
Yeah.
drop below 7%, the market would take off, it would go back above 7%. As you know, if you follow the stock markets, any of this stuff, there's ebbs and flows. And so it
Yep.
comes below 7, everybody's happy, goes above 7, everybody says, well, I'll just wait until it comes back below 7. And then it trickles down, and it worked its way down to 6%, saw the same thing go below 6, everybody's excited, pop back above 6%, everything slowed again. And we saw that
Right.
work its way all the way down to where we were back in 2001, where we were below 3%. And then
Right.
about 6 months time, November, from March to November, we jumped above 6%, and everything came to a screeching halt, and then we just kind of been working back and forth. So anyways, Jay Marinsky, you have a comment?
Just that what you're talking about and dovetailing off it to both buyers and sellers that are looking to get in the market or in the market. I mean, they are psychological levels. And like we talk about ebbs and flows, when you hit
Yeah.
those psychological levels, there is a pause or a acceleration we see. So ebbs and flows, I agree. Psychological levels, and hopefully 7 is the balance for the moment as more dovish talk and headlines come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
think
agree
we're going to
100%.
see things dive. I had predicted back in November that I thought interest rates would be down into the 5s as we got into May, June, just because it's a political year. And obviously that's not happened and or is going to happen. Even if they have a quarter point rate cut, at the next meeting, we're not going to see 5% interest rates, I don't think, before the election. Time, will tell. Lots of things can happen. But my question for you, Ryan, is that somebody buys a house today, let's say that they're at 7%, and they're just using it as an arbitrary number.
Right.
If interest rates go up, I obviously get to keep my 7% rate while everybody else is paying 8% if it goes that crazy again.
Right.
For somebody at 7%, locks in their rate, appreciation values, I think, are going to continue to be high, just
Yeah.
simply because there's a lack of inventory. People back in 2001, I'll just wait for interest rates to come back down. Well, that $300,000 house that they were going to buy 3 years ago is now $400,000.
Yep.
So, you lost $100,000 of potential equity in order to save a couple $300 a month in house payment. Point
Right.
being, at 7%, let's say interest rates a year from now drop to 6%. I can refinance, and through NFM, what's the savings and what kind of closing costs would a person expect to pay in a refinancing?
Great question. So we know that the rates are going to go down eventually, right? We don't know exactly when. If I had a crystal ball, I'd be a millionaire right now, billionaire right now, but unfortunately I do not. But we do know that they will go back down eventually within the next 5 years, right? So
Yeah.
right now, what we're offering to anybody who closes on it or goes into contract on a house is our NFM refinance pledge. What we're calling it. So when you get locked in, go into contract, let's say at a 7%, within the next 5 years, you can come back to me and you can say, hey, I want to refinance now that the interest rate's at a 6%. Perfect. No lender or origination fees will come to you. It'll be for $0 out of, for underwriting, processing, things like that. And then we will also reimburse your appraisal that you have to have as well, which could be 500-ish bucks, just average. So really you can come out of pocket $0. The only thing that we have to worry about is just collecting for property taxes and homeowners insurance, which you get a refund from your escrow account anyway. So it's basically a wash.
All right. Well, that's cool. So in the next 5 years, I can refinance, and I'm sure you guys have calculations there that on a, $350,000, $400,000 house, your payment's going to be $1,800 at 7%, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
At some point, if it goes to 6%, you're going to save $250 a month on your house payment.
Yep.
You're going to save $3,000, and over the life of your mortgage, you're going to end up saving, $50,000 in interest payments.
Yep.
And those are all things that you'll help people walk through. And what the benefit is and what the benefit isn't. I had clients that were basically trailing the market all the way down. You know, they bought a house in 2005, they paid 6.5% interest rate, went to 6, they refinanced, 5.5, they refinanced, 5,
Yep.
they refinanced, and they just followed it down. And they were able to do so with the same type of program that you're talking about, no cost refinance.
Yep.
And so you win both ways. Plus, again, you get the appreciation values that I believe are going to continue to go up. So
Yeah, I 100% agree. And like the cool thing about you getting appreciation, if let's say if you only put 5% down when
Right.
you purchase your house, let's say 2 years later you go to refinance, now that that appreciation has went up, it's likely, right, especially in like like Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, right? You're going to have that appreciation probably be over that 80% threshold,
Right.
which would eliminate what's called private mortgage insurance. So
Right.
you're also going to save in that additional amount. So there's just so many benefits with still purchasing today. And I always tell this to every client that, listen, if you're looking to purchase a house and you qualify to purchase a house right now, purchase a house. Don't wait until the interest rates go under a 7 because, right, when they start to go into the 6s, it's only going to create more competition, which is only
Right.
going to drive up the price amounts.
Right.
So like you said, a house that's going to cost 300,000 today in a year, 2 years time frame, right? 3 years time frame could cost 400,000, which even if you get that house at a 6% or a 5% interest rate, your monthly mortgage payment is still going to be the same. And the amount of equity that you gain in your house is going to outweigh any of that interest that you're going to pay coming from that 7% interest rate if you
Right.
buy it. Which
Yeah,
I put together a really, really slick cost analysis breakdown for all my clients.
that's cool.
So we always go over, you know, what the cost of waiting is right now, what that would look like when you are able to refinance, and the amount of interest that, you know, we potentially see. Again, we don't have a crystal ball, unfortunately, but we are professionals in this, and individuals come to us for a specific reason.
Sure.
And that's one of the reasons why we like to do it and educate individuals on it. So it's not a bad time to buy right now. Does higher interest rates suck? Sure, yes, but there are still positive things that come out of it, and it's just choosing to pick your poison at that point in time.
Well,
Yes,
you may
Jamie,
be,
go ahead.
you may be
I
saving,
gotta
a couple $100 a month, but you end up losing
You're losing thousands.
$25,000
Correct,
equity.
correct.
And it's like, which is better? Well, buy the house.
Right,
So, Jay
right.
Marinsky.
A few clients we had in a row, right, got appreciation, quote unquote, right off the bat from the
Yeah,
appraisals coming in and being for more than the
above.
agreed purchase
Yeah,
price.
instant equity.
And so one of those clients came to me probably 3 weeks into being contract, coming to closing, and said, you know, just thank you for sending me to Ryan. The lady I talked to did not explain things very well, and I talked to her multiple times, and Ryan set up a meeting to break everything down and make me feel like what I'm doing makes sense and will make sense in the future. And really, that's a big part of this investment is nobody knows the future. So
Right.
the future is looking bright in Columbus, that's for sure.
Yeah, basically the three big cities, Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati they were in the top 8. I think Cleveland was 8 on the hottest markets. Cincinnati was 2, and then Columbus was 3. So all over Ohio, and then I'm sure everybody knows the Intel News and the Honda Power battery plan and Meta, which is Instagram, Facebook. They bought land in New Albany.
The
Amazon
economic
bought
base here,
$100 million worth of
the
land in New
economic
Albany.
base here was solid, and it keeps growing as we
Right.
continue to grow as well.
Right. So, you know, maybe in a specific part of like Arizona, sure, maybe it does, or actually Arizona is a hot market. Like, I don't even know what's not a hot market right now. Arkansas, right? Whatever the case may be, not a hot market. Then it might not make sense to purchase with a higher interest rate because you're not going to outweigh that amount of interest with the equity that you gain. But in certain geographical areas like Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, they basically cover all of Ohio. You're going to be in a good position in the next 5, 10, 15 years,
Yep.
in gaining that equity in your house and it outweighing any interest, even with a 7% interest rate right now.
So I think I would like to do a separate video with your cost analysis.
Yeah, I would love to.
I think that makes a lot of sense for buyers to be able to see interest rate versus appreciation, long-term, short-term, blah, blah, blah. So let's plan on trying to do that here in the next few days,
Yeah.
and get that out there, because I think it would be definitely very beneficial to buyers buyers to kind of visualize what we're talking about here. So
Right.
our 2-minute wrap up here has been about 12
About
minutes,
10.
maybe even longer now.
That's all right.
Let me take a look.
We
17
went into
minutes.
overtime.
That's not bad. 17 minutes. We're only
We can
15 minutes over.
monetize it on YouTube at that length.
There
Yep.
you go. Well, what we'll do is that we'll put this up in the speed up mode, and we'll be like the you guys are probably too young to remember the Chipmunks, and so
The Alvin,
Everybody-
yeah.
everybody's
I was
voices.
just gonna say the Chipmunks.
so all right, guys. Hey, great discussion. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And we will be back next week. If you like the information you're getting here, like, subscribe, ring that bell so that you get notifications. Lots of great information. If you're looking to buy or sell, give us a call. Contact information is here on the screen. Brian, obviously, or I'm sorry, Ryan is a expert in, and in all honesty, Ryan, you've been 5 years now, 6 years
Yeah.
into this.
Yep.
I mean,
a little over half decade.
I remember meeting you about whatever 6 years over at the NFM offices, and
Yeah.
you were wide-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
You were in that first phase of salesmanship that you didn't know that you didn't even know.
Nope.
And in today's world, you've done a tremendous amount of business, and you've learned a lot, and you've got a great background underneath of you, and you're able to help buyers get to where they want. So that's the key.
A grizzled veteran.
He's not grizzled
Yeah, I like
yet.
that.
He's not
Grizzled
the old
veteran.
rugby player that he used to be yet, but he's getting there, and that's the key, is that you lean on people that have the experience to get you from your idea of buying a home to the end result, which is actually standing at the front door with the key in your hand, about to walk into your new home. So that's the exciting stuff here.
Yeah.
Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you, love to help you. And guys, thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
We'll see you. Thanks, guys. Perfecto.
All right.
That's good.
Quite a bit of content in there.